You know what you want to talk about?
Yeah,
Okay.
and you said that about heaven, my son.
Yes.
Um, I thought I talked about him when we lived in the project. But this now when we moved out to Long Island,
But I think you were going to start with when you first got pregnant with him. His baby
oh
story.
yeah, when oh yes, I got pregnant him when you said it was about 2.5 years old.
Yeah.
And well, my husband he was going to college at the time, and we were having a pretty rough time with his mother because she wanted us out of our apartment because we were having too many kids. We had one, and they were both pregnant with the other. So anyway, um, he was up in the morning so early and go off because he was going to college and he was working. And what was he? I didn't know until one morning, evening, he come and show me his certificate that he was confirmed. He was going to confirmation class. But anyway, he came home one night and said to me, I got out the fire escape. I was tired of being pregnant. I got fire escape and I was drinking a whole bottle of ginger ale. So, both big bottles of ginger ale. And he came home about 10 o'clock. I was on the fire escape. And he said, you sit here. You don't have a baby yet. And I took the bottle and threw it at him. And with that, he took the bottle and went to the kitchen, sat laughing, and went to bed. And I started to wet myself. And I couldn't stop. So I woke up and said, this is how you pee, I can't stop. He said, your water broke, let's go. So we went to the hospital, and I said, you gonna call your mother? No, I'm not gonna call my mother. She wants us out of here, let's get out of here. So we went to the hospital, and sure enough, I just don't remember exactly what the doctor said. I was ready to have the baby, and I got, I think that, I don't know, they put me to sleep. And the next thing I woke up, I had the baby.
Oh wow.
I found myself in the water with almost 8 or 9 pound baby. So anyway, he couldn't come and get me. My brother came and got me. I was at, and we looked all around for apartment, but we couldn't find any that was suitable. So eventually he was working for a real estate broker downtown New York named Douglas Elliman, and he asked him to intervene and see could he find him a nice apartment. And at that time, I think was Secretary of State was name was Knox, and Edelman and Knoxville was acquaintance friends, and so Douglas Edelman asked Secretary of State Knox to find an apartment, and they did. In the project, the project wasn't finished at the time, but whatever room was part was finished, I could get a room there, on which I got a room there. And we stayed there until when we moved in.
1948 was when Herman was born.
Oh, 94, yes.
So you lived there from 1948?
Yeah, but before that, we went up to, we went to Byron's house. He had a house in the project. I asked him what it was. It was, I should try to talk this because I don't remember the name of the place, like it was and the house they built really fast for veterans.
Oh, okay.
And I was, then I was pregnant with Herman. And when I came here, I'm looking for my pictures, and I couldn't find that one. And because we took pictures at the Byron's house, and there,
On the steps when you were pregnant with Herman. We have that picture. Yeah.
Yeah, and he had taken it.
Yeah, Herman had taken it, but we have that picture now.
Well, I took it back. I had the notch and gave him the notch one.
But that's where Uncle Byron was living. That was. Oh, okay.
When he lived up, had this house.
Oh, okay.
Most of, yeah. Okay. So, it's kind of hard to remember a 7-year-old. Anyway, we lived in the project from 1948 until 1956, I think it is. We moved out in Ireland. Man, it was a beautiful day when we moved. We had to have somebody to move us, but it was kind of hard. Now, when we moved into the project, my husband decided that I didn't know how to take care of money or the business. So he took over. He took over, paid bills, and we got more bounce check than the other one. We got $2 for a bounce check, but at that time $2 was a lot of money. Cause I would take $10 and feed the family for a week. But so I said to him, I know I am a foreigner and I don't know how to take care of the American money, but at least when I was thinking of it, we didn't have any bounce check. So, you want to give the bank $2? Fine with me. So, he gave me back. He said to me, okay, you make out the check and I sign it. I said, no. If I make out the check, I gonna sign it. I gonna take care of the whole business like I did before. So anyway, so he agreed. He had to agree. Because in the first place, I had money he had made. He had graduated from the college, and he was working at this time at the Amsterdam News. He did. He wanted. He took what you call it. Uh, um, he in college he took math.
Yeah, finance. He was a finance major.
That's right. He took finances in, but the guy at the head of the finance department was very, very prejudiced, and he didn't want him there. So he told Dr. Simon if he says if he gave him a job, that he could quit. So Dr. apologized, but he couldn't do anything else. So he gave him time to. He went to the
Amsterdam.
he went to the oh God. Anyway, he found a job at the Amsterdam News.
Urban League. Were you thinking about the Urban League?
Yeah, he went to Urban League. They found his job at the Amsterdam News. So he working there and he was there in that advertisement, and then he made. I said we moved in there in 48. In about 54 or 53, he started making like bonuses. He made $1,000 bonus, and you have to report it down to the when you get it to the. So we reported, and somebody told me, well, if he makes another $1,000 next year, we can raise his rent to $125. So I said, I wanted to get out of Harlem so bad. I said, I kept on telling him, I said, he said, don't press to raise their children. I don't like it here, and the tenements, people sleeping all around, and it was nasty, terrible. And what culminated the whole thing was I went to the store, and coming out the store, two men were fighting. And one was holding the other one, holding him, and they butted him. And then the guy could see what the guy's eyes fall out of his head.
But he butted his head. And, that's horrible.
And I was over and I said, no, we got to get out of here. We got to go. I can't afford for my kids to go over to the section. And besides, the school wasn't a great school anyway. Mm-hmm. So with that, I went to the bank. I just thought the bank was liberal. I borrowed $300, and I put the money in savings. They saved the $1,000. And I saved that and paid it off, and the next year, sure enough, he got another $1,000 bonuses, and I had another. So when we went we went all over First, he went to Croton on the house.
I think you already told about that.
He went to Croton the house. We had to take the Long Island train to go up there, and it takes almost a half a day to go up there. And when you got up there, it was a carriage house. And it had, I think, two bathrooms, bedroom, and here at the carriage house was down on the hill. So the broker said to us, "You all wait here and then go inside because that woman walk around in the nude." And she had a teenage son, but doesn't matter. She still walk around nude, and when she have her period, she have her cortex out and walk around in nude. So I want to make sure that she is dressed before you come in. So sure enough, she was naked, and he told her that he brought some people to look at the house. And so she took me outside. I said to her, "You don't want this. That hill up there is so like the devil hid out here. And when the spring comes, it's a stream." I told her, it didn't matter, because I wasn't going to move up here anyway. Yeah, he's like moving out of this world. I moved outside. It was awful. And so I told her, I said, "Honey, not here. I don't care if we give it to you. I'm not moving up here. Because it's isolated. The highway is down there, and we're up here. And where is the supermarket and stuff? I don't know. And I can't drive. I didn't know to drive. He didn't know to drive. No. I said, get on the train and go back to the city. So we got back on the train and told broker, no, thank him very much, but we don't want it. So here he comes. The next thing was he got at this time, he was promoted to circulation manager. So he knew all the ads that comes in, and he was so happy about the ad. This was this house in Staten Island for what? $7,000 or $8,000 in Staten Island, and that you want me? I said, I am not going to Staten Island and look at nobody's houses because I'm not moving to Staten Island. Okay? So he said, oh, and I am moving. I want to see the house. So he asked my brother, Timothy, to go with him. And so I said to him, on Sunday, I said to him, no, you know, Sylvia is in a play, and it's at 4 o'clock. I went back before 4 o'clock. So with that, he and Timothy left at 1 around 8 o'clock, took the ferry to Staten Island. At that time, they did not have a train across, it was just a ferry. Well, at 4 o'clock came, we went to the place that Sylvia was in, and came back, had dinner, and he left home until 9 o'clock that night. I asked him, I said, what happened? The Hudson was frozen, and the ferry couldn't get across. They take on morning to get to Staten Island and the evening to get back home. And then he told me that the thing for $7,000 was like a legal, was the house. I said, well, you know. So we thought, okay, he says, all right. Then he came back one evening and said, well, I think I've got a house on Long Island. No, I hope you want this house. I am tired of looking at the houses. So, sure enough, we got the house, went and looked at the house, and the house was nice. He had just 2 bedrooms and one bath, kitchen, uh, 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 breakfast nook, living room, but a stairway up the God, you could raise the roof and you have it up there. So I look at it, he said, okay, they want $10,000 for it. Okay, we can get it, right? I said, yeah, oh yeah. I said, it's small, but I would just settle for it. I've got to go to Harlem. So with that, what they wanted $10,000, but the kind of he didn't what you call it, things you had to pay for. We had to pay extra for gas, for oil, and some kind of fee was $2,000. So, no, it was, and the down payment was $2,000, and the extra fee for it. Then he started, oh, we have 2,000, where can get this money from? $2,000? No. I don't. I called my father, and my father might have. Called his father, and no, said, but I haven't got $2,000. Oh, and he just swears and he carried on. All I know, I said to him, I said, what the heck are you carrying on like this for? But you don't understand. I said, I don't understand you. You don't understand. You have to have $2,000. I said, well, we have $2,000. We have $2,000. Yes, we have two. We have more than $2,000. I said, your bonuses? I just went there for nothing. I kept that money in the bank. Then from there on, honey, I was a banker. And so with that, I said, you get the exam, I write up word about all the time. I said, I don't, you didn't see me go out and buy the fur coat or buy the washing machine. And that's what the people they did there. As soon as I get the money, they buy your shirt coat with a big fur coat on. Or the project, well, rooms were flooded with, it looked like snow, where they buy washing machines. And they could go right down in the project, in the whole basement, all the washing machine and drying it. But they could buy a washing machine, and the project was that big for a washer or dryer. Anyway, so now, so we bought the house, and we got the $2,000 down. Well, there was uh, two people, elderly people living in the house. She got in the bed and wouldn't get out. And so the broker said to, well, that's good, she won't get the bed, she's not going to leave. She said she is sick. I said, she has nowhere to go and she going to stay right there. She said, that's sick. They pay good, they pay rent. So why don't you just let, he said, if I want the payment, I would buy it. Okay? I want her out. The husband was willing to go, but she wouldn't go. So what they had to do, what they did was, uh, he, they got an ambulance and they took her up in the ambulance and tell her to take her to the hospital. And that's how she got out. And they cleaned up the house and we moved it. But that's pretty nice. The day we moved it was a beautiful day. We had good thing. Everybody had was to pay the movers. And we moved to pay the movers the money. And it was the policeman. And the policeman didn't charge but $10 to move us from 2140 Madison Avenue to Long Island, 12 Newman Road. $10. Whereas we would have paid probably $1,000. But now he just was $10 and add the big further things he took on his back and put in his truck. Anyway, we moved on it was, so we walking down, got off the train, we walking down the road, Ocean Avenue, turned down the road, these people driving up in a car. How come on, I'll give you a ride. I said, just thank you very much, but we are not, we haven't got far to go. That's down the road here. And she insists that we get in her car. Also, we got in the car. But if did I know what the short I said, I told you, we were just on the road. Anyway, it was a beautiful day. We moved on that Friday. That Saturday, Monday, we couldn't get out the front door. The snow was so high. We had a real snowstorm that weekend. But anyway, we moved out there and everything went fine. Because we were locked up in the house, couldn't go out of the house because the snow was up so high. And so we were locked in the house and the kids were just crazy about it. So when the snow went up, we registered the kids. Registered the kids anyway. And met the Dr. Gray, who was the doctor for the hospital, and Dr. Frank, who was the
Dentist? He was the dentist?
The dentist, yeah. Who was the dentist for the school. So
They went
that
to
was our thing.
Woodfield Road School, right?
Uh-huh.
So you're talking about Herman now. That's what we're
Okay.
talking about.
So when Herman was 7 years old, everything was all fine. But till he was about 10, he what happened what was the thing that Dr. Gray couldn't understand about Herman Norrie is that he was too left foot. He fall down, just looking, he would fall. And her the same. And she was afraid, she said, he keep her in the same place over and over again. So anyway, he got she doctored it up and it seems alright. Well, he got a fever, and when he was 10 years old, he got this terrible fever, and Dr. Gray um, took him to the hospital because she could find what was wrong with him. And they took him to Meadowbrook Hospital right there in the land. And they kept him there. No, we were on in a guy for 3 years, from 7 to 10. And Herman got his license, we bought a car. He got his license, and I kept on going. I passed the written test. I could not get my license, driver's license. So I said, I kept on going on. I said to somebody, why is it that I can get a passing my written test, but I cannot get the driver's license? She said, where did you go for your driver's test? I said, Indiana. Oh, those guys will never pass a woman. You go there till you're 95 years old and you would not get your license. So go to Lynbrook or Rockwood Center and there you get your license. So I decided, okay. I took advice and I went to Lynbrook. Open my mouth. Where are you from? I said, well, I am originally from Nicaragua and I came from Panama. You're Nicaragua? Bluefields? Yes, sir. And that was all. I mean, I did everything wrong. No. You know, you was hand
Shifted, the shift, yeah.
Well, I drove up into somebody's driveway. He makes me so nervous because all he did was talk about when he was in Bluefields in 32.
Mm-hmm.
All he did was talk. He didn't care whether I drive up to Timbuktu or what.
Mm-hmm.
Did I do this one? Did I do that one? Oh, yeah, that was my art. Ah, yes. Oh, and so when we got back to the station, I told myself, if you fail me, I could protest it. But he didn't fail me. He got my license. So, Herman got sick. And Dr. Gray sent to Meadowbrook Hospital. Now, you have to have a license. But before that, I decided myself. I could not drive. So I had to walk from my house about 2 blocks to the bus stop and the bus runs every hour and hour.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes to the bus station and they stay there for an hour, and then I take another bus and go. It takes about 3 hours. So when I leave the house, I got saved out of school. I leave around 9:30, it's 10 o'clock. I didn't get up to the hospital till around 12 o'clock. I got there in time to feed him his lunch and whatnot, and I have to leave around 1 o'clock to get back for Sylvia. Because that's how long it takes me to. But when when Herman's come home for work, I would get in the car at 6 o'clock and go to it takes 15 minutes to leave from house to get to the hospital. So that's the time we have to spend with him. And so they kept me there for about 4 or 5 days.
Wow.
And they couldn't find out what's wrong with him either. But they managed to break the fever and managed to get him back. So about couple of weeks later, they called me and told me that he had the mumps. And the mumps, instead of coming out, went back into his body. And that was that. They were in the fever, but they had to send the specimen to Washington.
Oh.
They didn't have any machine that did that kind of
Exam.
yeah, whatever. So, okay. So he is having trouble in school. English was one of his worst subjects. And so when he was 9 years old, when he was 9, the principal called me down and told me that he was very good in science and math, but he was bad in English. I said, well, I guess he got that from me. He says, I want you to send him to identify our hospital for the summer, and because he is good in math and English, science, and they have a program there, and you send him there take him there for the summer for English, and we did. I took him there that whole summer, and he went to, and so I told him one day, I said, but Herman, if you never get to college, you can always say you went to college when you're 9 years old. So anyway, we went on, and then he went to the 9th grade. And all the time, he never had a nice, good summer vacation because he always had to have a tutor to tutor me. Because for some reason the principal insists that Herbert goes to college because he says he never seen a kid like that, a person like that knows he can't, but the English is bad, but he could take a written in English, whole thing of what you call it?
Like a math problem?
Huh?
Like a math problem?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Her is, I get it. He said he couldn't understand that. Why can't he do English if he can do the
It's
math?
called a learning disability, but anyway.
So he says, so he got to go to college. And the only thing that keeps him from going is English. And so he got to study, do the English, not college, but high school. And the principal got a guy who was very good to tutor him. And he got tutoring him all summer. Then sure enough, he went to the college in
Fort Schuyler. Fort Schuyler.
The college,
You talking about Fort Schuyler?
Maritime College.
Right, Fort Schuyler.
He went to Maritime College.
It's called Fort Schuyler. Fort Schuyler.
At Fort Schuyler. Yeah. He went to Maritime College at Fort Schuyler. And he was doing fine. He said when he comes home, he loved apple dumplings. So I would make apple dumplings when he comes home, and he would take back with him two or three apple dumplings because he got access to he had access to oh my God, what is wrong with me? To a refrigerator, so he could keep it in there. So the ship, the guy, what they call the guy that is our head of there, see him come home every evening, every time he comes home, from home. And they got accosted him and took his package and said, oh my God, this is Google the apple. And they ate it. So every time he comes home, they lay with him and grab his package and eat it. And he said, I'm going to cry. Nothing he could do because they were a head shipman and whatnot, and he was below them. So, but he told me, don't give me any more. So I did not give any. He ate all he could at home, and then ate none at college. When he went out to college, he got $2,000 to get into the college. You had to buy a uniform, you had to do this, you had to do that, and you got to, I can't tell you what it cost. And then when everything was over, when the first semester, and he came home, we was having the guy, one of his shipmates called. I told him that they posted all the who failed or who passed, and he had failed because of the English and something. So, when he failed, his father said to him, no, you failed. Look, how could you know English is the worst of it. You should concentrate on it. Yeah, he told me that he was He had looked so good in a uniform. They go down to British village and walk around and the girls that just come after them. Okay, I said, oh, here you are. Not even wear a uniform because you can't go back to the college anymore. Well, we had one advantage. The college had only five black boys, and one of them was a Jamaican, and he could not stand the discipline. So he went back to Jamaica. So there were only four, and they wanted black people in the college. So Herman Ma, his daddy said he was at the train ride there who, when he says, I could call the dean and find out for the dean what he has to do to get back into college because you have to wait a whole year and to get back in and just like it is, just like you just paid the whole thing over. So he got on the phone and he called the dean and made an appointment. And the dean said to him, yes, we'd be happy to have him come back, but he had to take two subjects in English. And one is given at NYU and the other one is given at Adelphi.
I think it was Hofstra, wasn't it
A
Hofstra?
hostel, at the college hostel. So, now, that was during the, so now it means that schools were out until September, right? Okay, so that all the colleges were closed and they were not open again until after the 4th of July. No, they were out of school in June, I think, in June. And they were closed. And they were over again until. So I said, we had planned to come down south to my mother-in-law's for a couple of weeks. So what we did, I had to do, I asked Miss Smith, now she's an English teacher, you know that. I told her what had happened. And I asked her how much he would charge to tutor him because I think from June all the way until after the 4th before he could get into NYU. But he was registered to go in after I get
Right.
what he's supposed to get. But it was after the 4th. And she said, I think she got charged about $50 or $100, whatever it was. I asked the Mason to give him what she would charge to fix him one hot meal a day. Because we were going to say he's going on vacation. So she said that $30 would do. Got to live for 2 weeks. So I bought cereal, I bought milk, I bought cocoa, I bought bread, and things that need there, and we left. So he went to NYU, and he passed the subject with a C. Okay, that was good. Now, we go to Hofstra to get the next subject there. I drove him down to Hofstra. And I said to the guy that you go in there and register, and well, he walked in, and before I know what, he was back. I said, you registered that right? He said, no, I didn't get to see the deed. The secretary says that she wasn't seeing anyone. I said, I think she isn't. I said, come Harvard, let's go. I'm going, I said, I would like to talk to the dean, please. And she said, well, I said about getting in, and I told her why. And with that, she called the dean, and we went in. And the dean had her to call the college. And the college says, and the college was asked, they were closed. She says, if they are closed, how can you get them? I said, yeah. She won't be back until September. I said, and besides, I don't have $500 to give away. I said, you are charging $500 for this course. And it's only a month. And I said, he did either a C or a C plus in this subject, and you are the only college that gives it. And he had to get back in. And I explained to her why. And she said, okay, all right. We will let him in, but if I don't hear from them by 10 days, I said, okay, if that's the way you want it, that's the way. So I never heard more from them. And he took the bus. He could take the bus there. And he took the bus there, and he went down to the college, and as the father said, he rode the down bus with the teacher. And the father, you and the teacher had conversation, and you didn't tell him you need a C plus. And anyway, he bought with a C again. So he went on to go to the, and he passed. As a matter of fact,
You want some water?
he had a paper written in the archive. What he had written. And I bet you he says he did not go even leave the college for nothing except it to come home on the weekend sometime. But when he comes home, he brings his books to study. And he studied in nuclear engineer. So when he graduated, your father gave the invocation, and he and four other guys, they were nuclear engineers. That's why he can do what he does know. And
Well, okay, let me ask you about this. So what about, you were going to tell the story about prom when he was in high school. About the prom, about him going to the prom.
oh yeah, how he was afraid of girls.
Okay.
And he, he wanted to go to the prom, high school prom, but, and he had a guy man who he wanted to take. But then he had to, confided in Sylvia that he'd like to take this girl to the prom, but he's afraid to ask her. So Sylvia went to ask her, would she not go to prom with her brother Herbert? She said, oh yeah, she was happy. Don't you have to ask my mother? So Sylvia, when mother told Herman, yeah. The girl said that she was happy to go to the prom with him, but you have to ask, I'm not calling your mother. So you had to ask her mother. And the mother says, oh, your brother Herman, oh, he's a nice old man. Oh, yeah, I told him with my daughter. So that's how we went to prom with this girl. And I don't think you better the one, but as a matter of fact, we heard about Shanti through Shanti, right? He didn't tell us all it. Shanti wrote me a letter that she and Herman was read up. I don't know what the letter is. Anyway, so he graduated with, so he never did get education because when he went back to school, he had to, during the school year, he was in school the whole time. And like when the school closes, they were maneuvering. And they maneuver until they come back in time to go to school.
So he was at sea in the summer times, right?
Yeah.
That's what maneuvering means, yeah.
Maneuver
On ships,
sometimes.
yeah.
And so so when we said we said, but Herman didn't get a vacation and he's been working hard. So we decided to send him to the Virgin Islands for about 2 weeks and then he go look for a job. Well, like he graduated Sunday. Monday morning, I got ready to get you ready for school. And his bedroom door was wide open. His bed was all made up. And I said to him, I said, where do you think he went? Oh, he probably went for a run. And he'll be back. Well, he didn't get back until about 5 at night. And then I said, oh, I got a job. I could start to work tomorrow. And he's been working ever since. So, what I'm trying to remember, we moved from Liberty Road to Springfield Gardens. To Springfield Gardens. But I was in the kitchen and the doorbell rang and I said to you, go see who's at the door. And you said, oh, the big fat white man. And I says, I look out I said, that ain't no big fat white man, that's your brother Herbert.
I remember that.
You know?
I do, yeah.
You do remember.
Yeah.
So I was happy, we was happy to see him.
Yeah, come home from sea, yeah.
That's right. And
Yeah, Herman became a merchant marine, and he worked on a merchant marine ship, and he would go all over the world.
oh yes,
He was an engineer on a
you see
merchant marine
those
ship.
African things up
Yeah,
there.
all the stuff in the house, all the different dolls and little artifacts he brought from all over, from Russia, from India, from Africa, just from everywhere.
Yeah, and oh my God, he sent me once, sent me a $10,000 check. Cause he bought the car, and he had to leave the car, but he sent me money to take care of his business. And First National Bank we uses in not Long Island, in Queens. No, we use it in Long Island. The one that I tried to use in Queens was nasty. So I left that bank and went to Long Island Bank. So the manager was very, very friendly. So he called me one day. He said to me, "Why do you have two accounts here?" Oh, I said, "I don't have to go. One is my son's and one is for me, for us." He says, "Oh, one is your son's account?" "Yes." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, tell me something. Do your son pay you to keep his account?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, what's wrong with you? He got that much money in the bank. I will charge him to keep your account." So I wrote him and told him, I said, the banker said I should charge it. So I go charge you $25 a month. He said, "Okay." So, because I pay his car loan, I pay all this, I pay his tax. One year I paid $10,000 for his tax.
Wow.
So, he said, "Well, mother, you are good." I bought CDs. I didn't keep money. I bought CDs and made me beneficiary, and in his name, but I was the beneficiary until he Shadi came and Shadi to change the whole thing. I said, "No, I don't care." But he was so grateful to me. He said a friend of his that I think was an engineer also bought a car, and that he had to leave it and send money to his daughter the same way he did. And when he came home, the car people had confiscated the car because the mother didn't pay a penny in the car loan,
Oh, no.
and they took the car back, and she didn't have a cent for him. She spent that money as fast as he sent it. She spent it. He said, "I am so happy to have a boss like you. 'Cause I owe him every penny." Every penny he said that I gave account of. So that was that.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good, Ma. That's good. Thank you.